Hi guys, back again to ride another bike. Once again, Interstate Honda. Why so much for Interstate? Because they're near my house, and because I bought 9 bikes from them, and because I trust them, and I don't often plug dealerships that I don't trust. Used bikes, what else do they have? So my last video, I showed off some used bikes and somehow missed this aisle of bikes. So what do we have? We have a 2004 Honda Shadow Aero for $2,800. Now they go over these bikes. These aren't just something they took in yesterday and you have no idea what quality they are. They go over them. They're ready to ride. I would buy one and ride one immediately. They have a Triumph Thruxton 2013, $6,000. The Versus X. I have ridden these. They're very fun bikes. $5,000 because it's a 2023 300cc adventure bike, spoke wheels. A scooter, 2024 Honda Metropolitan. How's that used? I don't know. Here's a filthy, dirty Honda Rebel 1100 used. This is the DCT model. How can you tell? It has a handbrake. BMW 400 GT 2022 for $6,000. This is kind of a scooter cycle, or just call it a scooter. Very capable scooter. We have a 500X. Now, for a couple years ago, these things were in hot demand. So hot that beginning of COVID, you couldn't find one anywhere when you wanted to buy one. Well, here's a 500X right here. With cases. 5,500. And this one might be a little bit laughable. You have a 2008 Goldwing for $5,900, and I probably should have bought it instead of the one I bought, because I bought one for 16 grand last year when I could have just got an ugly white one for 6,000. But all the accoutrements on the Cadillac machine. But what are we riding now? Now's the important thing. What bike am I going to ride now? Well, it's 2025, so let's ride something that's 2025. Like this one, right over here. This very retro bike. This CB500X, which is not 2025. It's more like 1975. I don't know. That's not where we're riding today. Are we gonna ride a Pioneer 1000? Nah, you wouldn't watch me if I did. I don't see a bike here. What am I riding? Well, there's my Guzzi. We're not riding, well, we are riding that, but not on film. Ah, here we go. The Honda NX500. The new model. 500cc. Is it a thumper or a parallel twin? I'll tell you in a moment. This is my first glance over it. You probably know more about it than I do, but I will catch up quickly. Yeah, it's a twin. It's a parallel twin 500. It's not a thumper. We got twin rotors in the front. Only Nissan brakes though, not Brembo's, but I'm sure for a 500 it's at a price point. It's a 19-inch tire in the front, which I like 19s. I've tried 21s. I don't like 21s. I'm not that kind of a off-roader that I need a 21 front tire. The rear tire is actually fairly aggressive, and it's a 17. So that's a good tread. I mean, that tread is good for gravel, light off-road. Maybe that's where we should take it, on some gravel. Get it dirty. Alright, well, give me a minute while I study up on it and we'll take it for a ride.
Study, 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 study.
I'm tiptoeing it. I'm 5'10", by the way. You can do the math for metric. I don't know my math in metric. 5'10", and I am actually almost flat-footing this bike. If it were 33 inches seat height, it'd probably be just enough to make me not quite flat-footed. Looks like a full tank of gas. It looks almost like the same display as the Rebel, am I wrong? The new 2025 Rebel. Display looks very similar. Front brake, lots of dive, just like the Rebel. Rear brake, very tight, but makes the front dive. That's kind of funny. The NX500 is essentially the CB500X I just showed you in the used bikes for sale. The CB500X became the NX500 in 2024. Say that a lot. Although much of it is the same bike, the looks got a refresh as it went from the styling of, say, an NC700X to what looks like a KTM 890 or even a Yamaha T7. The wheels are now lighter, and the front wheel is no longer a 21-inch. I guess there are others besides myself that would rather take our chances with a 19-inch front. The engine is still the same 471cc liquid-cooled parallel twin, but the ECU has been flashed for more low-end acceleration. The engine features 47 horsepower and 31.7 foot-pounds of torque. They're not huge numbers, but they're adequate, especially for the class. However, this bike will go 100 miles per hour eventually, and it is sufficient in power the rest of the time to give you a smooth, drama-free ride. Speaking of the engine, Honda doesn't simply slap some pistons into cylinders and call it a twin. They look at everything scientifically, which is why their bikes have survived tariffs before and will again. Honda has cut oil channels into the pistons in such a way as to quiet them at high RPMs, and even remove some vibration. I will vouch for the smooth and quiet ride. If you are looking for drama coming from the powertrain, you won't find it here. The TFT display is the same as on the Transalp, and it is very easy for old eyes like mine to read in an instant. The computer now features Honda Road Sync for music control and turn-by-turn navigation. And here is one more addition, a simple traction control switch that can be turned on and off while riding. Let's test that on this old road. So although I've got a menu switch, I really don't think it probably has a whole lot going on. But you can turn off the traction control apparently. The bike handles perfectly on this dirt road, feeling like it is still on pavement. And now for the specs. I usually get someone from the comments gallery correcting me on the smallest decimal place.
Well, actually...
So I'll read it right from the Honda spec sheet from the dealer. Seriously, last week I had someone saying Colorado gets a lot of snow, so you must live on the eastern plains. Dude, the Rockies are right there. The sun sets minutes earlier than listed because I live in the shadow of the Rockies. But I love to digress, it's my channel. The engine is a dual overhead cam with 4 valves per cylinder. The transmission is a 6-speed chain drive, And I'm adding that it is super smooth, both in gear shifting and in a very light clutch pull. The front suspension has 5.9 inches of travel, the rear has 5.3 inches of travel. This gives the bike a ground clearance of 7.1 inches. The wheelbase is 56.8 inches, which makes the bike very flickable in the turns. The seat height is 32.8 inches, but the bike is so narrow you can reach the ground better than other wider bikes, like my Moto Guzzi V85 TT. That bike is just too wide. The NX500 is only 432 pounds wet and ready to ride, making it a pleasure to ride anywhere. The handling is fantastic. The gas tank is 4.7 gallons, which should give you a range of about 250 miles or more if you keep off the interstate. The riding position is comfortable. The bars are high enough, believe it or not, even for standing, although the seat slides me towards the gas tank. I thought they learned their lesson against doing that when they improved the seat on the NC750X. Does anyone like sliding into the gas tank at a stop? Come on, Honda, so many things perfect, and then you use a seat like the original NC700X. Aside from the seat, which can and will be changed, the NX500 does everything really well within the expectations of its class. It is a great commuter bike, featuring so little drama that you have no reason to be distracted from the traffic on the road. It can be a decent adventure bike too, within reason. I don't think I've seen a simple traction control on-off switch since the 2016 Honda VFR 1200X. Remember that tall VFR engine in an adventure bike? Yeah, it was too heavy for its height, but yet it had one switch for the traction control. Do we really need all those ride modes with barely noticeable differences? I find it annoying to scroll from sport mode to street mode to rain mode to off-road mode when a simple traction control switch will do the job in a second. So before you say you don't like the NX500 and prefer the old CB500X more, come try them both at Interstate Honda in Fort Collins. As always, thank you for watching. What bikes are coming up for me? I don't know. I'm 16 bikes away from my 200th bike, and I'm hoping it will be something special. Why don't you subscribe to find out? Oh, and keep your chin up in the turns. A very basic bike with a very nice ride. But I find that to usually be the case with Honda. Very smooth engine, very good straight linear power delivery. Just fast enough, but probably not fast enough for the interstate for long periods. The seat, like I said, slopes in a little bit, but it was soft, it's cushy. It's not hard. If you want a good commuter bike that can do dirt roads, street roads, and I'll bet it probably gets like 65 to 70 to the gallon, this would be it. That 4.7 gallon gas tank will probably last you a lot of miles, probably close to 300. I'm just guessing here. It's got the same muffler as my NC700X. Interesting. Yeah. Good looking machine. Thanks for watching.